All right. Welcome in to a Thursday edition of the Sports Huddle on SEMO ESPN. 1220 AM, 93.5 on the FM dial and online at SEMOESPN.com. Eric Sean in studio inviting you to join us here in the Huddle. Here's our EBOMD Huddle hotline number, 573-334-1220. 573-334-1220. The Huddle hotline powered by EBOMD. We may get a drive-through visit from Mr. Michael Rennick a little bit later on in the show. He's got radio station biz that he needs to attend to, but could join us here in the second half. But phone lines are ready for you at 334-1220. And if you have a smartphone, you can take us with you wherever you go. Just go to your app store, search for SEMO ESPN. It's got the Listen Live link to this station. It has links to our contests and promotions, the latest breaking news, the latest radar weather forecast. It is free. It is the SEMO ESPN app. No baseball at Busch Stadium last night, but we had all kinds of other action, including the Women's College World Series. So NCAA softball, we are down to 2, Texas and Texas Tech. And the ending of that opening game of a 3-game series was pretty remarkable. If you did not see it, it was a 1-0 lead for Texas Tech. They are in the bottom of the 6th inning because Texas is the home team. So Texas Tech on top, 1-0. You've got 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, and Texas has runners at 2nd and 3rd. And the catcher for the Longhorns is at the plate, Reese Atwood. And so they are intentionally walking Atwood. Well, in softball, you still have to throw the pitches, apparently. Unlike college baseball, where you just put up 4 fingers and the guy takes his base. Major League Baseball has switched to that as well. I didn't know that that was still a thing in college softball, that you've got to throw the pitches. So Texas Tech's pitcher, Katia Cañada, is intentionally walking catcher Reese Atwood. It went to 3-0. All these pitches, though, are high. The catcher is standing up, and they're all kind of over the plate rather than she jumps outside in the other batter's box and the pitch is delivered there. So the count gets to 3-0, and rather than throw the pitch in the other batter's box, Cañada throws the pitch down the middle on a 3-0 count for an intentional walk with first base open and Texas trailing by a score of 1-0.
3 home runs here at the series.
Gets a hit to pitch, and she will drive in a pair. Texas has the lead on her first hit of the World Series.
Unbelievable. Pitches right down the middle. It's probably almost shoulder height. And since they've got the rule, apparently, in college softball, you've got to physically deliver the pitches. Atwood swings away. I think she's 0 for 10 in the College World Series. No hits. They're trying to walk her to load the bases with 2 outs. She swings, grounds a ball in the hole at short, into left field, 2-run score, and Texas Tech would go down in the 7th inning. They got the tying run on, but could not drive in the tying run, and Texas wins by a final count of 2-1. There was a play earlier in the game where a Texas runner is trying to steal second base. Texas Tech runner trying to steal second base. And they called obstruction because the shortstop took the throw to second from the catcher, and it was in the baseline when she took the throw, but she was so far out. I mean, she was out by a mile. But they said that she was technically in the baseline on a routine stolen base, and they called obstruction. That run ended up scoring. That was Texas Tech's only run because the next hitter followed with a base hit. So that was a very odd call, but it was the call, obstruction. And then we had a couple of video challenges in the seventh inning. Everything went Texas's way, and they win the game by a score of 2-1. I wonder if, a couple of different rules are going to be addressed in softball. The spirit of the rule for obstruction on a stolen base like that, if a throw will carry a fielder into the baseline, I don't see how that's obstruction, especially when the girl she's out by 7 feet at least. It wasn't even close on the stolen base attempt. But obstruction was called, and I guess by letter of the rule, it was accurate. And then I wonder if college softball, and they said at the time, this Nadia Canada, or Canaday, I think is her name, Canaday, the star pitcher for Texas Tech. They said on the broadcast that she had never issued an intentional walk. Well, she met the media after the game in a post-game presser, and she said she had intentionally walked the batter before, although the announcers did not know that. And clearly they're not working on it. I mean, if she's throwing the ball basically over the plate but high, I mean, how many times up until they changed the rule in baseball did you see intentional walks? And, I mean, they don't get it anywhere close. I remember, and I'm going to say it's probably 20 years ago, SEMO was playing in a game at Oklahoma State baseball. And they had a kid from Oklahoma, a pitcher named Ryan Forsyth, and he was trying to issue an intentional walk to one of the Oklahoma State hitters. And for whatever reason, I don't know how many pitches into the intentional walk. This was back when you had to throw the pitches. How many pitches they were, 2 or 3 into the intentional walk. It may have been the final pitch. And he got it over the plate for whatever reason. And the guy for Oklahoma State did not step out of the batter's box, but he stepped forward and drilled it into the right center field gap and ended up getting a 2-run double out of it. So that was when you had to deliver the pitches. Major League Baseball, we've seen chaos ensue sometimes when guys can't execute the intentional walk. One of the reasons that they changed it, plus it's quicker and they're doing everything they can to speed up the game in Major League Baseball. Well, college baseball followed suit, and you don't have to deliver the pitches anymore. But apparently you do in college softball. So I wonder if they are going to address that rule in college softball, that they're going to go to the same situation as college baseball and Major League Baseball and just put 4 fingers up and give the batter the base. They may address that. I mean, this is the biggest stage for college softball, and clearly Texas Tech had not worked on their intentional walks. I don't know if that's something you work on. Clearly they don't in baseball anymore because you don't have to throw the pitches. Anyway, that was a wild scene, and to think that is how Texas won the game, as they're trying to intentionally walk the batter, and she gets a 2-run single, and that wins Game 1 of the World Series. And it's a 3-game series. So just like that, Texas Tech, who's never been here before, never been in the College World Series, obviously has never won one. Texas has been there, they've just never won one. They've been there a few times and lost to Oklahoma. And so Texas has a 1-game-to-none lead, and they just have to win one of the final 2 games. So that was a wild scene in Oklahoma City, which is really the city that's in the spotlight here, right, this week. You've got the College World Series in Oklahoma City, and now you've got the NBA Finals, which start tonight, Thunder and Pacers. And at last check, 9.5-point favorites. Oklahoma City tonight, 7:30 is the scheduled tip-off. We had game one of the Stanley Cup Finals last night, and it looked like the Florida Panthers were going to take game one. It's in Edmonton. They built a 3-1 lead. Well, the Oilers scored to make it 3-2 through 2 periods. And then Edmonton tied it in the third. And Florida could not score, so we went overtime in game one.
In the first overtime, here's McDavid. Out for Nugent Hopkins. Out of the point, Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins with it. Here's McDavid. Oh, it's just score! Leon Draisaitl! The Oilers win game one!
That's TNT. They've got the finals. Kenny Albert with the play-by-play. Eddie Olczyk in the booth. Brian Boucher down on the benches for the broadcast. Leon Draisaitl. The Edmonton Oilers have 2 of the very elite scorers in the National Hockey League. Obviously, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And it's Draisaitl that wins it in overtime. There aren't many things more exciting than Stanley Cup playoff hockey that goes to overtime because it can end at any second. And that's how it ended last night. Edmonton, and this is a rematch, Edmonton winning the game in OT. Pretty exciting stuff. So I thought when Florida had a 3-1 lead, I thought that game was over. Didn't happen that way. So that's game one. And game two, I believe, let's see, will be Friday night. So it'll be tomorrow night. Also in Edmonton. And then they'll take a 2-day break. No hockey Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, they will be down in Sunrise, Florida. And the Panthers will get to host. Tonight, we've got Pacers Thunder, Oklahoma City, and again, I'm pulling it up right now, 9.5-point favorites for game one. You've got an historical season for Oklahoma City, the greatest scoring margin in NBA history. I mean, this is a team that won 68 games. And during the regular season, not that it means a lot, but it's a footnote, the Thunder beat the Pacers in their 2 meetings. You got West versus East, and the way that it's set up in the NBA, you play the team from the opposing conference once on your court and once on the road. So it was the Thunder beating the Pacers in both matchups. I don't know if Indiana is going to be able to take a game in Oklahoma City. The Thunder have been absolutely dominant at home, but that's a pretty strong margin in terms of the betting line, 9.5 points. They are clearly the favorite in this game, and they are a heavy favorite in the series. Now, the Pacers have a puncher's chance, and if you've watched either one of these teams play, it is a fun brand of basketball. It's not Celtics basketball where they're going to jack 53 pointers per game. Do they shoot threes? Yes. The Thunder's defense, statistically, they have been one of the absolutely best defensive teams, according to the metrics, in NBA history. They have 3 elite on-the-ball defenders, and they've got a legitimate rim protector in Chet Holmgren. And they've got the MVP of the league in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And he is really, really good. The Pacers cannot afford to have an off night by either of their two elite players, and that's Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. They've got to have good games. They are not, in other words, when Halliburton scored only 8 points in the Game 5 loss to the Knicks, they're not going to be able to win a game if Halliburton has an 8-point game. I mean, these guys are going to have to put up good numbers in each game. And in terms of scoring options, the Pacers may have more scoring options, and they have a puncher's chance because of their ability to shoot the three. And these two teams, just watch turnovers and transition defense, because both of these teams, when they get a rebound, they go. I mean, they want to get up and down the floor. Who's got the better transition defense? And can the Pacers limit their turnovers against the Thunder? Turnovers are big in a lot of games. They're going to be massive in this series. So it's going to be 7:30 tonight, and it will be ABC if you're going to watch the NBA Finals. All right. Cardinal baseball. John Mozeliak just recently appeared on MLB Now on Major League Baseball Network. We played you a snippet of his interview with Brian Kenny. And I want to bring you a little bit more in-depth. John Mozeliak discussing the Cardinals' plans for the trade deadline and how things are working now with Chaim Bloom becoming the incoming president. So Kenny immediately starts with confirming with Mozeliak that this is indeed his final season at the helm.
This is your final year, correct? And how does that work then, John, with you and Chaim Bloom and the whole staff, given that you've been there so long?
Yeah, I think right now the easiest way to think about it is like I'm running our operation right now, and there'll be a point in time where I hand off the baton, whether that's sometime in August, September. Obviously, any type of decisions that we're making that affect 2026 and beyond, I definitely consult with him and get his opinion on things. And just as he asked me about what he thinks things may have to look like moving forward, just in the overall baseball operation. So, you know, net it's worked out fine, and it's been really kind of a fun year just watching these young guys go and taking advantage of this runway.
So you're in charge of trade deadline then, because now you're in a wild card spot now. How will you approach that?
Yeah, like I've been saying to anybody that asks, I hope July 31st is complicated for us. I mean, I really do. And, you know, looking at how we're playing right now, if we can keep this up, I do think ownership will let us look to add pieces that make us stronger.
Do you believe that if you can get in, you can win? Or do you think there are tiers? Or how possible is it, if you get in, even if you're the road team in the wild card, that you can run through and win it all?
You know, that's a tough question to answer. And I think, you know, when you look at how we've lined up with some of the better clubs this year, we've competed with them. With the exception of maybe this past weekend, we've been in basically every baseball game we've played. And so knowing that, I think just our club as a whole has a lot of internal confidence. And so who we play, I don't think we're scared of. And so, you know, ultimately, you want to see what you look like in the month of July. But in terms of if you're going to play 3-game series, 5-game series, 7-game series, we feel pretty good about our chances.
John, how did you handle the Nolan Arenado situation with the player himself? Like after he was out, seemingly at least on the market, and then he stays put. How did you handle that?
Well, a couple things. One is, you know, when I met with him at the end of last season, we talked about trying to find a solution or a possibility of a trade for him, which we ultimately did with Houston, but then he used his no trade and didn't go. Then we got to spring training. We hugged it out. We understand where we all are. And I think right now he's really enjoying just being a part of this club and the way we're playing.
So he's playing good defense, too, and your defense, by some measures at least, is, if it's not the best in the league, it's way up there. Was that an organizational point of emphasis, or is that just having the players?
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously, you got to have talent to execute these types of things, but you also have to have a strategy and a plan to make that happen. And so, you know, ultimately, I think under Ollie and our coaching staff, we've put a lot of effort in making sure we're doing the little things right. And so far this year, we have been.
John, I mentioned the success that you've had, again, just being one of the top organizations in baseball for all these years while you've been at the helm. I know you probably don't think a lot about your legacy. What do you think your legacy will be to the Cardinal way and to baseball in general?
Yeah, you're right. I haven't really thought much of that. Obviously, being in an organization for 30 years is rare. I think a lot of people in this business, it's very transient. And so for me to be a part of the Cardinals for so long, I certainly think when I look back at those years, I'm going to be very proud of what we were able to accomplish. But I'm hoping 2025 is something that we look back on and say, like, we weren't planning on being great, but we became great.
All right, there you go. John Mozeliak, and the quote in there, I hope July 31st is complicated for us. So in other words, got to make a decision. You're going to try to go out and fortify the roster to make a run at a wild card, or we don't know how the Cubs are going to do atop the division. They couldn't score a single run last night against the Washington Nationals, despite Matthew Boyd taking a perfect game into the sixth inning on the mound for the Cubs. They couldn't score against the Nationals. So we don't know about the Cubs. And the team that we have talked about to keep an eye on, the Milwaukee Brewers, all of a sudden, they're only a half game behind the Cardinals in the standings. They have won 9 of their last 10 games, the Brewers. Won again yesterday, so they're 34-29. Cardinals are 33-27. Cardinals are 4.5 behind the Cubs, who are 38-23. So it'll be a doubleheader today after they were rained out yesterday, and that's coming on the heels of, well, you start making a short list of worst losses of the season, and where does that Kansas City game stack up on Tuesday night? I mean, you're up 7-2 in the fifth inning and lose. Cardinals did not score another run in the game. They got to 7 runs when Alec Burleson hit a 2-run homer in the third. They took that lead into the fifth. Cardinals never scored again, and it was Andre Palante couldn't make it out of the fifth inning. Gives up 7 earned, 71 pitches in a game for Andre Palante. And if you're scoring at home, first 6 starts of the year for Andre Palante. First 6. He had a 4.10 ERA. Last 6 starts, his ERA is almost 6. And his sinker ball is starting to get crushed. This is a concern. Andre Palante is officially concerning in the Cardinals' rotation. Now, you can factor in batted ball luck and all of those things, but Palante is not trending in the right direction. Into a spot where the Cardinals have 1 off day left in the month of June. So they're going to be using a lot of pitching. And a doubleheader today, so they're going to get a 27th player available for this doubleheader, which, by the way, is a split doubleheader. And apparently the Cardinals are offering fans who held tickets for last night's game a rain check for a future game that can only be used Monday through Thursday. So they are going to get a rain check, but it will be 2 games today. I'll be interested to see what kind of a crowd they're going to get. Miles Michaelis, game 1 against Noah Cameron, lefty. In fact, 2 lefties. Cole Reagans is going in game 2 against Matthew Liberatore. So of the starting pitchers, 3 of the 4 combined between the 2 teams are lefties. Noah Cameron versus Michaelis, game 1, and then the 2 southpaws, Matthew Liberatore, Cole Reagans, 645. And again, we gave you the numbers. This is concerning because you're talking about 2 of the very worst offenses in all of baseball, the Texas Rangers and the Kansas City Royals. Texas, third worst in runs per game in Major League Baseball, but in their 2 wins over the Cardinals, they scored 19 runs. The Kansas City Royals, only the Rockies have scored fewer runs. Think about that. The Rockies, who, by the way, just put together their first 3-game winning streak. They just got their first sweep. They swept the Marlins. They win 3-2 last night. So the Rockies, who are on pace to maybe statistically be the worst or one of the 3 worst teams in the history of the sport, only the Rockies score fewer runs than the Royals, and the Royals just lit your pitching staff up for 10 runs. Steven Matz officially got the loss, but Palante could not make it out of the 5th inning. And he went into the 5th inning with a 5-run lead. So is that concerning? Yes, it is. So you need nice performances here by Michaelis and Liberatore today against 2 good pitchers. I mean, Noah Cameron has already pitched well in a game against the Cardinals when St. Louis won 2 of 3 in Kansas City. And then you've got Cole Reagans in game 2. That's a 6:45, so it'll be 12:45, 6:45. Liberatore Reagans in the 6:45 game. So it is concerning now. Your last 3 losses, your pitching staff has given up 29 runs. You lose 11-1 against Texas. You lose 8-1 against Texas. You lose 10-7 to Kansas City. At home, you score 7 runs. You got to win that game. Did not happen for St. Louis last night. So is that concerning? Absolutely, it's concerning. And as we look in Major League Baseball, the team with the best home record in the sport is the team with the best record in the sport. It's the Detroit Tigers, who are now 19 games over 500, 41-22. I don't know if you saw it yesterday about how the Boston Red Sox won their game at Fenway Park. They've got a young player named Ceddanne Rafaela. And if you're familiar with the setup at Fenway Park, the pesky pole is the right field foul pole. Long time ago, a light-hitting infielder named Johnny Pesky used to curl balls down around that foul pole. Well, if you hit one to the foul pole at Fenway Park, it is the cheapest home run in the sport. And that's exactly what Ceddanne Rafaela did in a 9-9 game in the bottom of the 9th inning yesterday.
The winning run is aboard. Here we go with Ceddanne, who's had an enormous series, but 0 for 4 today.
And a fly down the right field line. That one heading toward the stands. And that's going to be a fair ball. And that ball is gone. It's out of here. He tucked it in there. And he walks it off.
308 feet.
Oh, my.
308 feet. He hit that ball for a bomb.
It's actually a highway robbery, but the Red Sox will gladly accept it. They win 11-9. The Angels can't believe it. And this young lady was looking for cover, but it drops in 308. Now, what a way to win a ball game.
It's like granite blocks were lifted off their shoulders with an 11-9 win.
Man, couldn't get my microphone on. 308 feet for Ceddanne Rafaela's home run. 308 feet. That is the shortest home run measured in the StatCast era, which started in 2015. That would not have been a home run in any ballpark in the majors. 0. Except for Fenway Park in that spot near the Johnny Pesky pole. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Rafaela is not a home run hitter, but he curled one inside the foul pole. And the Boston Red Sox walk off the Angels, who I believe have more 1- and 2-run losses than any team in Major League Baseball. It has not been going that well for the Angels, who, believe it or not, they're a little better than I think some people thought that they were going to be, although now they have lost 7 of 10 after that one. They are 28-33, and you've got the Seattle Mariners out there who have lost 7 of 10. They had the early lead in the West, but all of a sudden the Mariners are playing horribly, and they've been passed in the standings by the Houston Astros. So there you go, a tough way for the Angels to lose on a 308-foot home run that would have only been a home run in Boston, Massachusetts. So there you go. We've got to take a timeout. We are waiting. Mike Rennick said he may make a cameo appearance here on the Sports Huddle. We've got more. When we come back, it's the Sports Huddle. SEMO ESPN. Don't forget, Catfish Baseball tonight at Kappahaw, 6:35. SEMOESPN.com, and you can listen tonight as the Cape Catfish host the O'Fallon Hoots, 6:35. They had to wait out a weather delay yesterday, and they went 10 innings. Rex Baseball and the Cape Catfish. Rex scores a run in the 10th. And so the pressure is on the Catfish, who scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 10th inning. And the winning run scored on an error. So anyway, you can win it. So the Catfish are 4-4. And again, it's a 6:35 game. Rusty Hendricks will call the game. And the young man who took a medical red shirt for SEMO this past year, Tank Sims, hit another home run last night. He's hitting 400. He's got a couple of tanks under his belt so far this summer. So that should be a fun player to watch, especially going forward for SEMO Baseball. The commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, said on Wednesday, this according to The Athletic, he plans to introduce a proposal to Major League Baseball's competition committee that would bring the automated ball strike system to Major League Baseball next season. Now, obviously, they tried it out in spring training. They've been using it at the minor league level. It's the ABS system. Barring a change of heart, according to The Athletic, inside of Manfred's group, ABS appears likely to arrive in the big leagues next year. The league office has enough votes on the 11-person committee, which is also made up of player representatives and one umpire, to push through what he wants. Here's the quote. And by the way, the human umpires are still going to make the vast majority of the ball strike calls, but teams would start each game with 2 challenges to the umpire's opinion. Umpires would then rely on a technology system that the league has tested for years in the minor leagues and in Major League spring training games this year. Teams retain the challenge if they get the call overturned. Now, in spring training, the only people that could challenge a ball strike: pitcher, catcher, batter. That's it. So, in other words, Oliver Marmol can't yell challenge from the dugout. Now, he could tell his catcher to challenge it, but officially, the only ones that can challenge pitcher, catcher, hitter. Here's the quote from Commissioner Manfred. I do think we're going to pursue the possibility of changing that process, and we'll see what comes out at the end of that. He made this comment from MLB headquarters. I think teams are really positive about ABS. You know, I have to do unscientific in terms of the system that I use, and that's my email traffic. And my distinct impression is that using ABS in spring training has made people more prone to complain about balls and strikes via email to me referencing the need for ABS. That is undoubtedly true. Undoubtedly true. And I think we have seen, I saw a call the other night from Laz Diaz, who now that Angel Hernandez is out of the picture, you got Laz Diaz, you got C.B. Buckner. I think they would be vying for worst umpires in the sport. And this pitch that Laz Diaz punches a guy out on had to be 4 inches off the plate. You can Google it. It was absolutely terrible. It would have been overturned immediately. And the thing about this ABS system, they use the Hawkeye technology, is immediately up on the big video board at Major League Baseball fields, they go directly to the technology. Now, you could see it in a lot of the televised games. They've got the Hawkeye technology, and they will show you where the pitch landed. Well, that will be up for display for everybody in the ballpark, and it is almost immediate. If there's a challenge, they immediately put it up because you get it pretty immediately on the telecasts as they replay just exactly with the Hawkeye technology where the pitch was and whether or not it was a ball or a strike. So it is a fan-friendly system. You've got to be strategic about it because you may be convinced that the umpire missed the call, but if it's just an eyelash in or out of the strike zone, you've only got 2 challenges for 9 innings. So you've got to be very judicial about it. Now, what I thought was interesting, during Cincinnati Reds spring training games, Terry Francona said, we're not going to mess with it. It is not something that is happening during the regular season, so we will address it when Major League Baseball makes it part of the regular season. So it looks like Francona and company are going to have to get a plan of attack, as everybody will. So they will talk strategy with the ABS. I'm sure they'll talk with some of their minor league personnel and minor league coaches about strategies that they employ in the minor leagues with the ABS, because you don't want to run out of challenges. Key spot, 8th or 9th inning. Umpire clearly misses a call, but you're out of challenges, right? So you've only got 2 now. If you're successful, you get it back. But who is going to be given the rights? There were teams in spring training that were saying, I don't want the pitcher to do the challenging because they can get overly emotional and be convinced that a pitch that they threw was a strike. The catchers and the hitters probably know better than anybody. So it'll be interesting to see, will some pitchers be given the ability to go ahead and challenge a pitch? It seems like many managers are not trusting their pitchers. They're going to go strictly with the catcher or with the hitter. So that's good news. It sounds like, I mean, let's face it, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, he's not going to go on the record with the Athletic here if he doesn't think that he's got the votes. So that's very interesting. We thought that it could happen as early as next year, and now it appears that it will happen as early as next year if they still have the vote. All right. Are you getting sick and tired of all of the publicity given to Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani? Does he get too much pub? Are they talking about Shohei, who seemingly hits a home run about every game? Now, they lost last night. He had 2 hits, but none of them left the ballpark. Well, there is a sports talk radio host, Evan Roberts, that works in New York at WFAN, and he is sick and tired of the national media's love affair with the Dodgers. and Shohei Ohtani. This is Evan Roberts, WFAN Radio, New York.
National media that takes turns saying everything about the Dodgers that makes you humanly sick. I'm sick of it. We get it. They're great. They won the World Series. Yippity-doo-dah. Everything is about the Dodgers. The Dodgers, the Dodgers, the Dodgers. And don't insult us by saying the only reason Citi Field was packed is because they played the Dodgers. It's crap. I can sit here and bore you with evidence that it's not true. My anger at the national media that takes turns giving back massages to everybody from Shohei Ohtani to Mookie Betts to the stupid logo on the front of their chest. I hate the Dodgers. I hate them. They are now number one. Congratulations. This has never happened before. You're number one on my hate list. I hate you. I can't stand you. I want you to go down in flames. And Ohtani doesn't even pitch, but he throws batting practice, and we freak out. The guy hasn't pitched in a major league game in 2 years. Stop acting like he's a unicorn. Go pitch, and then we'll act like he's a unicorn. Go pitch. He hasn't pitched in 2 years, and we got to hear about it constantly. I hate them. And by hate, you know what I mean. Sports hate.
Sports hate them.
I sports hate them.
Evan Roberts, WFAN in New York. Oh, by the way, did we mention the Dodgers will be in St. Louis starting tomorrow after the Cardinals play this doubleheader today. And by the way, the over-under before the season started with the odds makers, I believe the Dodgers over-under was at 104 wins. Well, right now, they have a .597 winning percentage. That is just the third highest winning percentage in the National League. They have a one-game lead over the Padres, who are even with the Dodgers in the loss column. The Dodgers have played 2 more games. And you go back to those 2 that they played in Japan to start the year with the Cubs as the reason why they've played 2 more games than the Padres. The Dodgers just lost 2 of 3 against the Mets. And they've got 1 game this afternoon against the Mets. So the Mets could win 3 of 4. The Dodgers have lost 3 of 4. Are they going to be coming into St. Louis on a winning streak, or are they going to be coming off a loss to the New York Mets? That's a 3:10 game, by the way. If you've got MLB TV or you've got the extra innings package, you can watch Mets and Dodgers coming up today at 3:10. So that is very interesting, the thoughts about the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the guy that follows us on this show, Clinton Yates, just recently appeared on ESPN Los Angeles Radio. Our old buddy, DeMarco Farr, okay? Former St. Louis Rams player, former St. Louis Rams broadcaster. He went with the Rams when they went to Los Angeles. Clinton Yates appeared on the show. It's the Travis and DeMarco Crew is the name of the show out on ESPN Radio in Los Angeles. And this is how that exchange went about Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers.
Yeah. Do you know what hitting for the cycle is, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
A pitcher has never hit for the cycle in Major League Baseball, and I think Shohei Ohtani will be the first one that does it.
Oh,
that
but
will
he
happen.
is a pitcher.
He is a pitcher.
It's not like he's doing it as a lark.
In a game that he throws in. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
He's hit
for
the
cycle.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's impossible. To pitch and hit for the cycle, that's impossible. Stop the game.
He's done it before. He hasn't, not on the days he's pitched. He's hit for the. It's just he just has to have a good day at the plate.
He can run the bases pretty well too. He's one of the best base runners on the team. He hits a lot of triples. This is in play, dog. This is my next personal thing. I want to see Shohei Ohtani.
You know what mine is? I want to see him get one over that roof.
Yeah. Out of the yard.
To me, that is the next level of because. By the way, he might hit 60 home runs.
Could you grow this in a lab? I mean, start now with a kid.
Say that we have.
I mean, start now with a kid.
I understand what you're saying.
Pitching, hitting.
We talked about this yesterday. One of the new interns here at 710 is Mark Kotze's daughter.
I saw the email and I was going to ask. I didn't want to be untoward, but I was like, is that human related to Mark Kotze or not?
Kotze was a two-way guy in college.
Yeah.
He was the center fielder and the closer. He was a two-way guy. Mm-hmm. And so he gets drafted, and they're like, you're better in the outfield than you are on the mound. We're going to just go play the outfield and go do it. Now, Kotsay wasn't Ohtani, but it's just a good example of, hey, let's just let that happen.
I will come in here naked.
That's not what we want. That's not what we want.
I'm just saying. That's how confident in that.
You're way too confident remotely.
Just saying. There's no way. Come on.
So that is DeMarco Farr, who says he will come in and do their radio show at 710 ESPN in Los Angeles naked if, as Clinton Yates predicts, that in a game which Shohei Ohtani pitches in, and it probably he's not going to pitch in a game until sometime in August, that's what most people who are following what the rehab situation is for Ohtani. They believe that the Dodgers have the luxury to take it extremely slow with Ohtani. They could go to a six-man rotation. They've got lots of options for Ohtani, but they want to have him back and ready to go for the postseason. But Clinton Yates believing that in a game that Ohtani is pitching, he will hit for the cycle. And if it happens, DeMarco Farr coming into work naked. I don't think there's any way he'd do it, but I thought it was interesting sound, especially leading into Clinton and Friends, which is coming up as soon as this show concludes, which is right about now. Don't forget, Cardinals doubleheader today, starting at 12:45, Game 1 against Kansas City. Miles Michaelis versus Nate Cameron. And Cameron, who has a 105 earned run average. Two lefties the Cardinals are going to see today because Cole Reagans is going to go in Game 2 at 6:45. Now, they had shifted their rotation. It was going to be Seth Lugo in the Reagan spot, but it will not be Seth Lugo. This is the latest that we've got. Matthew Liberatore versus Cole Reagans. And then the Dodgers have only announced two of their three starters. They have not announced a starter for tomorrow for their opener at Busch Stadium. Sonny Gray will take on somebody, and we don't know if that's going to be a bullpen game, but the Dodgers do play today 3:10 against the New York Mets. Off day in the Stanley Cup Finals after the Oilers took Game 1, and finally, everybody can stop talking about it. We can actually play the NBA Finals tonight, 7:30-ish. Tip ABC, Thunder, 9.5-point favorite over the Indiana Pacers. And 6:35 for Cape Catfish, Rusty Hendricks. We'll have that for you here on SEMO ESPN. We are back tomorrow. Say hello to the radiant and ravishing Dawn Shawn. Day off today for Deshawn. She's fired up about that. Stay tuned. Clinton and Friends coming up. Hope you enjoy your Thursday, everybody. Right now, no up 7-2. They